Um, Hi, everyone. This is Daniel from Dude, I Watched That, and we're here with the director and star of Knocking. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm great.
Glad to hear. I guess I'll go straight into it. So, this is a story that has kind of had a long chain getting to you guys. So, it started as a short story and then was adapted as a screenplay and then passed on to you. And I know you two have collaborated before. How did this kind of all begin? Was it a collective decision, or did one of you find the script and approach the other?
I found the short novel, so I read it first, and then I teamed up with my scriptwriter Emma Broström. So that's how we started it, and the short novel was actually the main character was older. She was like, I think 70 or something.
Oh, really?
So I was starting the audition with a bunch of older women, and somewhere in my back head, I had Cecilia on my mind. I said, "Oh, I wish she would have been older." And but then after a while, I realized that I can actually make her younger, and that would actually add something to the story, because she's getting out of the psychiatric ward. And she wants to start a new life. And I don't say that when you're 70 your life is over, but it was easier for a 45, 50-year-old woman to start over again. So I called her and she said yes. Or did you read first? Did you read the script first, Cecilia? Or did you just say yes?
No, I read the novel first.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And yes, I wondered, well, isn't she a little bit older than me? But that was nice to hear. It's not every day you hear, I want her to be older. But so I read a novel first. So then we met, and then came the script. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah, that's interesting. Especially the age gap, but I think it worked out well because you're such a perfect match for this. Um, I also wanted to ask, the camera work in this is so innovative. The lens on Molly is always like right on top of her or right over her shoulder. I was wondering if that posed a challenge, Cecilia, on your performance, or how Frida, you worked with the DP to kind of make that happen the way it did.
You want to start, Cecilia?
Yeah, it was a really fun work. I can say that about also because it was like it was Frida and me and this third person, and that was Hannes, the photographer, and he was like all over me. But I told him after 2 days that he was wonderful. It was like he wasn't there. It was like he sneaked in with the camera everywhere. And he as a person is very sensitive, and so it was like he wasn't there. It was very, very nice. It was like someone, a presence of something, but not a big camera. No.
Oh, interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, and the idea was from the start when I set up these rules with the DOP that it will always be Molly's perspective, and I wanted the camera to reflect her emotions. So what Molly felt, the camera felt. So we came up with this color system where the green was the start. The color of green was the start, where she was healthy, most healthy, and in the end it was red when she was going crazy, insane. So we had this the color system, so we can always I could talk to the DOP and I can talk to Cecilia about the colors instead of using all these words, which is could be awful for an actor. You know, don't put the words to me. It was more how she could think about the color. You know.
Yeah, that's interesting. And in particular, I wanted to ask Cecilia that moment towards the end of the film where um, you're walking around the apartment complex and the camera's like right against you. Did you have that anchored on you, or was that where you followed it? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the, what do you call it, Frida? Snorri
Snorri, yeah.
Snorri. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yes, it's like a big thing you put. It's like it's backpack in on the stomach.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it weird to adjust to that, trying to like, get into your moment of insanity while that's on you?
It was like two works at the same time. It was like filming yourself in a way, and then act.
Yeah.
You know, now I know I can do a film on my own.
Yes.
My own team.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Yeah. And for Frida, this is your first narrative feature. Most of your histories with short narratives and short documentary. And I wanted to know what about this story made you want to make that jump from the short form into the feature form.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly I've done was in the documentary genre before, but I always, you know, I always wanted to deal with social topics, so social issues. So, I mean, telling something about the world we live in today was important for me, but I was always lacking something as a filmmaker. I couldn't, you know, I felt locked because I was dealing with real people, right? So when I read this novel, I realized that I could combine a story that matters into a genre movie, and I could have the freedom of doing, especially when it's a psychological thriller or horror. There is no, you know, there's no limits. So for me, it was like going into this candy store and do whatever you want because, you know, yeah, we can do that. It was I loved it. I didn't know I was going to love it, but I really did.
Yeah, that's cool. Is horror something you've always been interested in as a filmmaker? Did you know you were going to take this path eventually, or did it kind of come upon you with the story that you found?
Yeah, I think it came upon me. I mean, I loved, you know, I have influence in this film, like Roman Polanski's Repulsion and Rosemary's Baby and all those films. Also, some of Darren Aronofsky's films as well. But it was first when I saw Get Out, Jordan Peele's movie, that I realized I can really combine an important subject, you know, in a genre. Like I can do both, and I could maybe reach a wider audience than I would in a documentary or just in a drama. So yeah, I'm a late bloomer in the genre.
Yeah, that movie did kind of change the landscape of social horror, and
Yeah.
I'm glad it's bringing up movies
Yeah.
like this. And I wanted to bring up, I know even in the Meet the Artist video you made for Sundance, you pointed out how you wanted this to be a strong analogy for the Me Too movement. And it's especially powerful when all these details are considered, like all the people Molly confronts in the apartment building are men, and all the people that are like, are you sure? They're all men. And I wanted to know if this is something you added on top of the source material, or if it's something that you think was tied into the subtext already.
Some parts, but I think we spice it a little more on the script than the novel. But as you said, I think for me was I saw the building where she lived as a metaphor for the society in a way, you know. And I know some people are like, no, it should be more women in the film, but I mean, then we loses the perspective and the story that I wanted to create. How does it feel for a young man like you to watch that?
I find it very effective. I think, I mean, I it's hard to discuss something like that as somebody again who my voice isn't the one that's as important, but I think it is effective, and it does do a good job at getting the message.
Yeah.
And for Cecilia, I wanted to ask, your performance in this is so good. I brought that up before, but your reaction and your fear to the knocking is like what's so powerful about it. And I was wondering how both of you created an environment on set to bring out that tensity, because all the fear that you see in Molly is it comes off very effective. I was wondering how you guys made that happen on set.
How did you do that, Cecilia?
Yeah. Oh, that was a hard question. I just did it. No, I don't know. I think also, for me, when Frida told you about this color schedule, it was like an equalizer that we used, and that was very useful in all those levels of intensity. So but like always, it's just it's also the story is, someone begins to sense something, and that intense is more and more through the story. It's like you have to find the wave until the big storm. So that's
Yeah, and
how we
we
played with it, I think. And sometimes we did 2 3, no, a little, it's like yeah.
yeah, and it was a balance for sure. How much? I mean, not too much, not too little. And we also talked every morning where we were gonna heading for that day. What was the meaning of it? But I mean, that was a challenge. I think. I think the first act in the movie for me was a challenge, the most challenging. I don't know if you agree, Cecilia, but I mean, before the real action, because when the ball is rolling, you just go with it. You have that direction. But before that, I mean, is it really? That was a
That's
challenge.
And in particular, this question's getting gradually more stupid, but is there did you guys make sure that on the set you were hearing the sounds that Molly was hearing, or?
Yeah, I asked the sound designer to actually pre-record some of the sound, because I
wow.
thought that would help Cecilia. I mean, I don't know how many percent, but maybe 70% of the film is just her in the apartment playing against four walls. So I wanted to help her as much as I could, and I didn't know if it helped for you, Cecilia, but
Yeah, it did, and then sometimes it helped just to hear it once, so I knew how it should like. And so yeah, but it was it was good concentration on set. Yeah.
Yeah. And my final question, I think the way that we don't really know Molly's backstory kind of helps us empathize with her even better. We don't know what this traumatic incident she had is. We don't know why she was in this rehabilitation facility. Is there something that was in the source material that you left out for effect? And for Cecilia, how did this change your interpretation of the character at all?
I have to think about how the novel was. Was there any flashbacks? No, it was just she watching like photos of her past. No, I was really inspired of Sharp Objects.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah, and where Amy Adams, it's just how they editing things. It's just she could just stand at the window and then, I mean, that picture of that memory, that trauma came to her, So that was actually something that I added more in the editing than was in the script, because it was the challenging was also, like you said, how to emphasize with Molly. I mean, what has she been through, and by doing that editing, I think that helped. That okay, it's serious that she's been through, but I didn't really want to. I didn't want to get stuck that she had been in a psychiatric ward, and that was an issue. It was just a time for her to, build up herself again. And
Daniel, just giving you a 2-minute warning.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that was my last question. So
yeah, so every time I opened the door, I didn't want to open the door too much because it was too many questions, right? So all the doors are like a little bit opened, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
But I have all the answers, the actor has to have all the answers. So you can ask me later.
Nice.
No, but
Oh, cat.
yes.
Sweet. All right. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much, and congrats on your Sundance premiere. One of the only 6 midnighters, I guess. That's pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
congrats on that.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Shannon, do you mind if I ask quickly, do you want this posted after the premiere as well?
Yes, that would
Okay.
be great. I think we sent you notes on like the embargo, so just make
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I just didn't know if that was for the review or the interview, but we'll hold both.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel and Frida.
you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks.
Take care.
Nice to meet you guys. Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you too. Bye.